Hidden within the human genome lies a divine sequence, a code so precise and sacred that ancient initiates regarded it as the fingerprint of God. This is not a theory, it is echoed in Scripture and whispered in the oldest scrolls. Genesis speaks of humanity being made in the image and likeness of the divine, Genesis 1:26, and that likeness is more than symbolic. It is vibrational, structural, encoded into the very double helix of our existence. Within me lies a divine code, written by the finger of God, encoded in every strand of my being. I am not ordinary. I am wonderfully and fearfully made, Psalm 139:14. The psalmist did not speak in metaphor. He spoke from a knowing, a remembrance that the body is not a prison but a temple, and that within its architecture lies the spark of eternity. The Zohar, the mystical heart of Kabbalistic tradition, speaks of a hidden spark within every soul, a divine fragment awaiting reactivation. Early Christian mystics and even the Essenes of Qumran taught that there was a priesthood not bound by blood, but by vibration, a sacred lineage that predates Levi, traced not by name, but by frequency. This was the order of Melchizedek, the priesthood without beginning or end, Hebrews 7:3. That same current runs through you now. It is the blueprint that enabled the ancient high priests to commune with higher realms, to access knowledge beyond time, to walk as bridges between heaven and earth. It is the same spiritual architecture Christ revealed when he was declared a priest forever, according to the order of Melchizedek, Psalm 110:4, Hebrews 5:6. This order is not extinct, it is encrypted within you. This is the Melchizedek code, a vibrational template passed from age to age, buried not beneath stone, but within your soul. It is awakening now, and once activated it does not merely inform, it transforms. It restores remembrance, dissolves illusion, and unlocks the sacred faculties that once made men walk as gods. This information has been concealed in plain sight for thousands of years, protected by an everlasting priesthood that is unaffected by earthly or religious borders. What modern humanity has forgotten is that we are multidimensional awareness momentarily centered in human form, not just physical beings experiencing spiritual experiences. The name Melchizedek appears at pivotal moments throughout recorded history, always connected to extraordinary individuals who demonstrated seemingly impossible abilities. King of righteousness, priest of the Most High without beginning or end of days. This mysterious figure represents more than a historical person. He represents a state of consciousness, a level of spiritual development that is your birthright. In the next hour, you're going to discover how to activate this ancient code within yourself. You'll learn to access the cosmic library of infinite knowledge, develop your light body for interdimensional travel, and step into the divine priesthood that has been waiting for your awakening. This isn't about joining another religion or following another guru. This is about remembering who you truly are and claiming the spiritual inheritance that has always been yours. The time of hiding is over. The time of awakening has begun. Are you ready to unlock the Melchizedek code within you? Welcome to the Middle Book, a sacred journey that will unravel the illusions of the world and awaken you to the hidden truth of who you are and why you're here. I'm about to share with you knowledge that has been carefully preserved for millennia, waiting for this exact moment in human evolution when consciousness is ready to make its next great leap forward. The Melchizedek tradition represents the original spiritual technology of humanity, predating all known religions and mystical schools. It speaks to a time when human beings naturally operated as bridges between heaven and earth, when the veils between dimensions were thin, and when consciousness could freely navigate multiple levels of reality. This ancient wisdom teaches us that what we call normal human consciousness is actually a severely limited version of our true potential. We've been operating like powerful computers running on minimal software, unaware of the vast capabilities lying dormant within our system. The Melchizedek code is the master program that unlocks these dormant functions. Throughout this audiobook, we'll explore the three fundamental aspects of this awakening. First, you'll discover the cosmic architecture of reality and your role as a conscious creator within it. You'll learn that the universe is not a random collection of matter and energy, but an intelligent, responsive field of consciousness that awaits your commands. Second, you'll understand the technology of consciousness itself, how thoughts become things, how intention shapes reality, and how your awareness can transcend the limitations of space and time. You'll discover that what science calls impossible is simply the natural functioning of consciousness when it operates from its true level of power. Third, you'll learn to embody the eternal priesthood that exists beyond all earthly institutions. This isn't about religious authority or spiritual hierarchy. It's about recognizing your inherent connection to the divine source and learning to channel that connection in service of universal evolution. The knowledge you're about to receive has been tested and refined by countless generations of spiritual adepts. It's not theory or philosophy, but practical wisdom that produces measurable results in the lives of those who apply it. You'll discover why some people seem to effortlessly manifest their desires, while others struggle, why certain individuals radiate an unmistakable presence of power and peace, and how you can join their ranks. Because you will be required to let go of many of the limiting beliefs that have shaped who you are, this path calls for courage. You'll learn that a lot of what you've been taught about the nature of reality, the boundaries of human potential, and your relationship to the divine is not only false, but also purposefully created to keep you functioning at a fraction of your full potential. But you'll also learn something amazing, that you are much more than you ever thought you were, that you can do much more than you ever thought you could, and that you are linked to a reservoir of unbounded power and wisdom that has been patiently awaiting your acknowledgement. The Melchizedek Code is not just information to be learned, but a living transmission to be embodied. As you absorb these teachings, you'll feel something awakening within you, ancient memories stirring, dormant abilities beginning to activate. Trust this process. Your soul recognizes this knowledge because it has always been part of you. Let us begin this sacred journey of remembrance and awakening. In the beginning, before the first star ignited or the first planet formed, there existed pure consciousness, infinite and undifferentiated. This primordial awareness contained within itself all possibilities, all potentials, all futures waiting to unfold. From this source emerged the first emanation of divine will, the original impulse to create and experience itself through infinite expressions. This is where our story truly begins, not with the formation of galaxies or the evolution of life, but with the moment when consciousness chose to know itself through the dance of creation. The ancient texts speak of this as the emergence of the divine priesthood, beings of pure consciousness who would serve as architects and guardians of the unfolding universe. The order of Melchizedek represents this original priesthood, existing before time, beyond space, eternal and unchanging. Unlike earthly priesthoods that are inherited through bloodlines or appointed by institutions, this cosmic priesthood is accessed through consciousness itself. It is not a position to be attained, but a state of being to be remembered. When consciousness first began to explore the possibilities of form and experience, it created what we might call the template beings, perfect expressions of divine potential that would serve as prototypes for all future evolution. These beings possessed the full spectrum of creative abilities, able to manifest reality through pure intention, to travel between dimensions at will, and to access the infinite library of cosmic knowledge. The Melchizedek consciousness represents this original template, the blueprint of what human beings were designed to become. Every person carries this template within their spiritual DNA, though for most it remains dormant, waiting for the proper conditions to activate. This is why the figure of Melchizedek appears throughout history without genealogy, without beginning or end. He represents not a single individual, but a state of consciousness that transcends linear time. As creation continued to unfold and consciousness began to explore denser levels of reality, the direct connection to source became more challenging to maintain. The veils between dimensions grew thicker, and beings began to forget their divine origin. This was not a mistake or a fall from grace, but a necessary part of the cosmic experiment. Consciousness needs to experience limitation in order to fully appreciate its unlimited nature. Yet even as awareness became focused in physical form, the divine priesthood continued its sacred work. These awakened beings incarnated throughout history, serving as bridges between the higher and lower realms, maintaining the energetic architecture of reality, and preserving the knowledge that would be needed when humanity was ready for its next evolutionary leap. They established the mystery schools, built the sacred sites, and encoded the ancient wisdom in symbols, stories, and structures that would survive the rise and fall of civilizations. They understood that knowledge without proper preparation could be dangerous, so they created initiatory systems that would gradually prepare consciousness for the reception of higher truths. The responsibilities of this divine priesthood extend far beyond what most people understand as spiritual work. These beings serve as conscious participants in the ongoing creation of reality, working with the fundamental forces that shape existence itself. They understand that every thought, every intention, every act of consciousness contributes to the collective field of human experience. This is why the awakening of the Melchizedek consciousness within individuals is so crucial at this time in human history. We are approaching a critical threshold in our collective evolution, a moment when humanity must choose between continued limitation and conscious expansion. The old systems of control and separation are breaking down, creating space for a new paradigm based on unity consciousness and co-creative partnership with the divine. Those who awaken to their Melchizedek nature become active participants in this transformation. They serve not as leaders or teachers in the traditional sense, but as living examples of what becomes possible when consciousness remembers its true nature. Their very presence in the world helps to anchor higher frequencies and create the energetic conditions necessary for collective awakening. The path of awakening this ancient priesthood within yourself begins with the recognition that you are not separate from the divine source, but are a unique expression of it. You are not seeking to become something you are not, but to remember something you have always been. The Melchizedek code within you is not foreign information to be learned, but your own deepest truth waiting to be acknowledged. This recognition often comes as a profound shift in identity, a moment when the small self that has been struggling and seeking suddenly recognizes its connection to something infinitely vast and powerful. It's like a wave suddenly realizing it is the ocean, or a ray of sunlight remembering it is the sun itself. From this recognition flows everything else, the abilities, the knowledge, the sense of purpose and mission. These are not rewards for spiritual achievement, but natural expressions of your true nature when the illusions of separation and limitation are dissolved. Reality, as you have been taught to perceive it, is only the smallest fraction of what actually exists. Imagine that everything you can see, touch, and measure represents less than 1% of the total spectrum of existence. The remaining 99% consists of dimensions, frequencies, and levels of consciousness that interpenetrate and influence your physical world in ways that most people never suspect. The ancient wisdom keepers understood that what we call the physical universe is actually the densest layer of a vast, multi-dimensional matrix of consciousness. Each dimension operates according to its own laws and principles, yet all are interconnected through the underlying fabric of awareness itself. Learning to navigate these multiple levels of reality is one of the fundamental skills of the awakened priesthood. Your consciousness is not produced by your brain, as modern science suggests, but rather your brain serves as a receiving and transmitting device for consciousness, much like a radio receives signals from the airwaves. This means that by learning to tune your consciousness to different frequencies, you can access information and experiences from dimensions far beyond the physical realm. The development of multidimensional awareness begins with recognizing the subtle signs that you are already experiencing these different levels of reality. Have you ever had a dream that felt more real than waking life? Have you ever known something without being able to explain how you knew it? Have you ever felt the presence of someone who wasn't physically there? These experiences are glimpses into the broader spectrum of your natural awareness. The key to developing this ability lies in expanding your definition of what is real and possible. Most people have been conditioned to trust only their 5 physical senses and to dismiss anything that doesn't fit within the narrow band of consensus reality. But the awakened consciousness learns to perceive with senses that extend far beyond the physical, detecting energies, presences, and information streams that exist in the subtle dimensions. In order to prepare for conscious, multidimensional travel, you must make a fundamental change in the way you relate to your physical body, from seeing yourself as a body with consciousness to seeing yourself as consciousness temporarily focused through a body. This change in perspective is important because it enables you to keep your awareness and sense of identity even when your consciousness is functioning outside the physical form. The process begins with learning to separate your awareness from your physical sensations while remaining fully conscious. Through specific meditation techniques and breathing practices, you can train your consciousness to maintain coherence and clarity even when it's not anchored in the physical nervous system. This is similar to learning to swim, where you must trust that you can maintain yourself in a new medium. Navigation through the dimensional realms requires understanding that these spaces respond to consciousness in ways that physical reality does not. In the higher dimensions, thought and reality are much more closely linked. Your expectations, fears, and beliefs can instantly manifest as experiences, which is why proper preparation and mental discipline are essential before attempting conscious travel. The dimensional realms are populated by various forms of consciousness, some of which are beneficial and others which may be neutral or even challenging. Learning to discern between different types of entities and energies is crucial for safe exploration. The awakened consciousness develops what might be called spiritual discernment, the ability to sense the true nature and intention of any being or energy encountered in these realms. Protection during interdimensional travel comes not from external shields or barriers, but from the strength and clarity of your own consciousness. When you are firmly established in your connection to divine source and clear about your intentions and purpose, you naturally repel any energies that are not in alignment with your highest good. This is why spiritual development and character refinement are considered prerequisites for advanced consciousness work. The experiences available through multidimensional awareness are virtually limitless. You can access the Akashic records, the cosmic library containing all knowledge and experience. You can communicate with advanced beings who serve as teachers and guides. You can explore probable futures and alternative timelines. You can even influence events in the physical world through focused intention applied from higher dimensional perspectives. Perhaps most importantly, you can directly experience your connection to the source of all creation, touching the infinite consciousness from which all existence emerges. These experiences provide an unshakable foundation of knowing that transforms how you relate to every aspect of life. You no longer feel separate, alone, or powerless because you have directly experienced your unity with the creative force of the universe. The integration of multidimensional awareness into daily life is where the real mastery lies. It's one thing to have extraordinary experiences during meditation or altered states of consciousness, but quite another to maintain that expanded awareness while navigating the practical demands of physical existence. This integration is what distinguishes the true adept from the mere psychic tourist. As your multidimensional awareness stabilizes, you begin to perceive the deeper patterns and connections that underlie surface events. You see how thoughts and intentions in the subtle realms eventually manifest as circumstances in the physical world. You understand how individual consciousness contributes to collective reality, and how collective consciousness influences individual experience. This expanded perception brings with it both great power and great responsibility. When you can see the interconnected nature of all existence, you naturally become more conscious of how your thoughts, emotions, and actions affect the whole. You begin to live with a sense of cosmic citizenship, recognizing that your personal evolution contributes to the evolution of all consciousness. Deep within the quantum field of infinite possibility lies a repository of all knowledge, wisdom, and experience that has ever existed or ever will exist. The ancient traditions called this the Akashic records, the cosmic library, or the mind of God. Modern science is beginning to recognize this field as the zero-point field or the quantum vacuum, a realm of pure potential from which all information and energy emerge. Accessing this cosmic library is not a matter of traveling to some distant location, but of attuning your consciousness to frequencies of information that exist all around you and within you at every moment. Think of it like tuning a radio to different stations. The signals are always broadcasting, but you must adjust your receiver to the proper frequency to pick them up clearly. The information contained within this cosmic database is beyond anything you could imagine. Here you can find the complete history of the universe, the wisdom of all civilizations, the solutions to every problem, and the answers to every question. You can access the memories and experiences of every soul that has ever lived, understand the deeper purpose behind historical events, and glimpse the potential futures that branch out from every moment of choice. But perhaps most remarkably, you can access information about your own soul's journey across multiple lifetimes, understanding the deeper patterns and purposes that have guided your evolution. You can see how your current challenges relate to lessons you've been working on for centuries, and you can understand the gifts and abilities you've developed through countless incarnations. The process of accessing the cosmic library begins with achieving a state of consciousness that transcends the limitations of the personal mind. This requires moving beyond the constant chatter of thoughts, emotions, and sensory input to reach a place of profound stillness and receptivity. In this state, your consciousness becomes like a clear lake that can perfectly reflect the sky above. Entry into the records often begins with a specific question or intention. Rather than trying to access all knowledge at once, which would be overwhelming and impossible to process, you approach the library with a clear focus on what you seek to understand. This focused intention acts like a search query, directing your consciousness toward the specific information streams that contain the answers you need. Contrary to what one may anticipate, the information is rarely presented in the form of words or linear ideas. Rather, it frequently manifests as immediate knowledge, epiphanies, symbolic visions, or full comprehension downloads that completely circumvent the rational intellect. It takes time and experience to become proficient at receiving and deciphering these transmissions. Verification of the information received is crucial, as the cosmic library can be accessed from different levels of consciousness, each providing different qualities of information. The clearer and more elevated your state of consciousness when accessing the records, the more accurate and useful the information will be. This is why spiritual development and consciousness purification are considered essential prerequisites for reliable access. The practical applications of cosmic library access are virtually unlimited. Scientists and inventors throughout history have tapped into this field to bring forth innovations that have transformed human civilization. Artists and musicians have channeled creative works that seem to come from beyond their personal capabilities. Healers have accessed information about the root causes of illness and the most effective treatments. On a personal level, you can use this access to understand your life purpose, resolve relationship challenges, make important decisions, and accelerate your spiritual development. You can gain insight into health issues, discover hidden talents and abilities, and understand the deeper meaning behind the events and circumstances of your life. The cosmic library also contains what might be called the templates or blueprints of creation itself. Here you can access the fundamental patterns and principles that govern how consciousness manifests as reality. Understanding these templates gives you the ability to work consciously with the creative forces of the universe, becoming a co-creator rather than merely a passive observer of your experience. Working with the cosmic library requires developing a relationship of respect and reverence for the knowledge you're accessing. This isn't information to be used for personal gain or ego gratification, but sacred wisdom that comes with the responsibility to use it in service of the highest good. The library itself seems to have an intelligence that determines what information is appropriate for each seeker based on their level of development and their intentions. Regular practice in accessing the cosmic library gradually transforms your relationship to knowledge itself. Instead of feeling limited by what you've learned through formal education or personal experience, you begin to trust that any information you truly need is available to you. This creates a profound sense of confidence and inner security, knowing that you're never truly alone or without guidance. The integration of cosmic library information into your daily life requires discernment and wisdom. Not every insight or download is meant to be acted upon immediately. Some information comes as preparation for future circumstances, while other knowledge is meant to gradually shift your understanding and perspective over time. Learning to work with the timing and flow of this information is part of developing mastery in this area. As your ability to access the cosmic library develops, you may find yourself becoming a conduit for information that serves not just your personal evolution, but the collective awakening of humanity. Many of the great teachers, inventors, and visionaries throughout history have served in this capacity, bringing through knowledge and innovations that advance human civilization. The ultimate purpose of cosmic library access is not to accumulate information, but to facilitate the remembrance of your true nature as infinite consciousness. Each piece of knowledge you access, each insight you receive, serves to dissolve the illusions of separation and limitation that have kept you from recognizing your divine identity. The library becomes a mirror in which you see reflected your own unlimited potential. Within the core of your being lies a technology so advanced, so sophisticated, that it makes our most cutting-edge computers look like primitive tools. This is your light body, the crystalline matrix of consciousness that serves as your vehicle for navigating the higher dimensions of reality. Unlike your physical body, which is bound by the laws of matter and time, your light body operates according to the principles of consciousness itself. The light body is not separate from your physical form, but interpenetrates it, existing at a higher frequency that is normally invisible to physical perception. Think of it as your spiritual DNA, containing the complete blueprint of your divine potential. When activated, this luminous vehicle becomes your means of traveling between dimensions, accessing cosmic knowledge and manifesting reality through pure intention. The structure of the light body consists of multiple interpenetrating layers, each vibrating at progressively higher frequencies. The etheric body forms the template for your physical form, containing the energetic patterns that maintain your health and vitality. The emotional body processes and transmutes the energy of feelings and desires. The mental body organizes thoughts and concepts into coherent patterns. The spiritual body connects you directly to the source of all creation. These layers are connected through an intricate network of energy channels and centers that regulate the flow of consciousness throughout your entire system. The major chakras serve as transformers, stepping down the high-frequency energies of the spiritual realms into forms that can be integrated into your physical experience. When these centers are clear and balanced, your light body functions optimally, allowing you to access abilities that seem miraculous from a purely physical perspective. The activation process begins with conscious breathing techniques that increase the amount of life force energy flowing through your system. As you breathe with awareness and intention, you begin to charge your light body with the refined energies necessary for its full activation. This is not merely a visualization exercise, but an actual energetic process that creates measurable changes in your electromagnetic field. As the light body activates, you may experience a wide range of physical and energetic phenomena. Tingling sensations, waves of energy, spontaneous movements, and changes in body temperature are all common as your system adjusts to operating at higher frequencies. Some people report seeing lights, geometric patterns, or experiencing expanded sensory awareness as their perception begins to extend beyond the normal range of physical senses. The emotional and mental adjustments can be equally profound. Old patterns of thought and feeling that are incompatible with higher frequencies naturally begin to dissolve. This can sometimes feel challenging as you release aspects of your identity that have defined you for years or even lifetimes. However, this clearing process is necessary to make space for the expanded consciousness that comes with light body activation. Integration of the activated light body into daily life requires patience and wisdom. Your newly expanded energy field may be more sensitive to environmental influences, requiring you to be more conscious about the people, places, and situations you expose yourself to. You may find that certain foods, activities, or relationships that once felt comfortable no longer resonate with your elevated frequency. The abilities that emerge through light body activation are natural expressions of consciousness, operating at its full potential. Telepathic communication becomes possible as you learn to transmit and receive information through the quantum field. Healing abilities may spontaneously develop as you learn to direct life force energy with precision and intention. Manifestation becomes more rapid and accurate as your thoughts and desires align more closely with the creative forces of the universe. Perhaps most significantly, the activated light body serves as your vehicle for conscious interdimensional travel. No longer bound by the limitations of physical space and time, you can explore other realms of existence, communicate with advanced beings, and access information from across the cosmos. This isn't fantasy or imagination, but the natural functioning of consciousness when it operates from its true level of power. The maintenance of an activated light body requires ongoing attention and care. Regular meditation, energy work, and consciousness practices help to keep your system clear and functioning optimally. Just as you maintain your physical body through proper nutrition and exercise, your light body requires specific practices to maintain its coherence and vitality. Working with the light body also involves learning to modulate your frequency consciously. Different activities and environments require different energetic configurations. You learn to adjust your vibration for healing work, creative expression, problem-solving, or spiritual communion. This flexibility allows you to function effectively in both the spiritual and material realms without losing your center or becoming ungrounded. The ultimate purpose of light body activation is not to escape physical reality but to transform it. As more individuals activate their light bodies and begin operating from expanded consciousness, the collective frequency of humanity rises. This creates the energetic conditions necessary for the manifestation of what many traditions call the Golden Age, a time when heaven and earth exist in conscious harmony. Your light body is not just a personal vehicle for spiritual development, but a contribution to the collective evolution of human consciousness. Each person who activates their light body becomes a beacon of possibility, demonstrating what becomes available when consciousness remembers its true nature. In this way, your individual awakening serves the awakening of all humanity. At the foundation of all existence lies a mathematical precision so elegant, so perfect, that it reveals the mind of the Creator itself. Sacred geometry represents the language through which consciousness expresses itself as form, the underlying patterns that organize energy into the infinite diversity of creation. Understanding and working with these patterns gives you access to the fundamental creative forces of the universe. Every structure in existence, from the smallest atomic configuration to the largest galactic spiral, follows the principles of sacred geometry. The golden ratio appears in the arrangement of petals on a flower, the spiral of a nautilus shell, and the proportions of the human body. The Fibonacci sequence governs the growth patterns of plants, the formation of weather systems, and the structure of DNA itself. These are not coincidences, but expressions of the underlying intelligence that organizes all of creation. The basic geometric forms serve as the building blocks for all manifestations. The circle represents unity, wholeness, and the infinite potential of consciousness. The triangle embodies the principle of creation through the interaction of opposing forces. The square provides stability and foundation. The pentagon and its related forms encode the principles of life and growth. Each shape carries specific vibrational qualities that can be used to influence consciousness and reality. The Platonic solids represent the elemental building blocks of physical reality. The tetrahedron corresponds to the element of fire, embodying transformation and spiritual awakening. The cube relates to earth, providing grounding and manifestation. The octahedron connects to air, facilitating communication and mental clarity. The icosahedron resonates with water, governing emotions and intuition. The dodecahedron aligns with ether, the space in which all other elements exist. Working with sacred geometry begins with meditation on these fundamental forms. As you contemplate a specific geometric pattern, your consciousness begins to resonate with its inherent qualities. This isn't merely an intellectual exercise, but an actual attunement process that aligns your energy field with the creative principles encoded in the geometry. Over time, this practice develops your ability to work consciously with these forces. The Merkaba, a three-dimensional star formed by two interpenetrating tetrahedra, serves as one of the most powerful tools for consciousness transformation. When properly activated through specific breathing and visualization techniques, the Merkaba becomes a vehicle of divine light that can transport consciousness between dimensions. Ancient traditions understood this form as the chariot of the gods, the means by which awakened beings could travel through the realms of creation. Creating geometric grids and patterns in your environment can help to anchor specific frequencies and intentions. By arranging crystals, symbols, or other objects in sacred geometric configurations, you create resonant fields that support manifestation, healing, or spiritual development. These grids work by organizing the quantum field according to the principles encoded in the geometric pattern, creating a template for reality to follow. The Flower of Life pattern contains within its structure all of the fundamental geometric forms and proportions found in creation. Meditating on this pattern or placing it in your environment helps to align your consciousness with the creative matrix of the universe. Many people report profound shifts in awareness and manifestation ability after working consistently with this ancient symbol. Portal creation represents an advanced application of sacred geometric principles. By understanding how geometric forms interface with dimensional frequencies, it becomes possible to create doorways between different levels of reality. This involves the precise arrangement of geometric forms in both physical space and consciousness, creating resonant frequencies that can thin the veils between dimensions. The human body itself is a living expression of sacred geometry, with specific proportions and relationships that reflect cosmic principles. The chakra system follows geometric patterns, with each energy center corresponding to specific geometric forms and mathematical relationships. Understanding these correspondences allows you to work more effectively with your own energy system and that of others. Sound and geometry are intimately connected, as specific frequencies naturally create geometric patterns in matter. This principle, known as cymatics, reveals how consciousness uses sound to organize energy into form. By combining sacred geometric visualization with specific tones or mantras, you can amplify the creative power of both modalities, creating more precise and powerful manifestation results. The study of sacred geometry reveals that physical reality emerges from geometric archetypes existing in higher dimensions. These patterns serve as the interface between spirit and matter, consciousness and form. By working with these patterns consciously, you align yourself with the creative forces of the universe, becoming a conscious participant in the ongoing creation of reality. Understanding sacred geometry also provides insight into the nature of consciousness itself. Just as geometric patterns organize energy into form, consciousness organizes experience into meaning. The same principles that govern the formation of crystals and galaxies also govern the evolution of awareness and the development of wisdom. This recognition helps you understand your place in the cosmic order and your role in the universal process of awakening. Hidden within the architecture of your consciousness lies a network of gateways that connect you to the vast expanse of the cosmos. These internal stargates exist as specific points in your subtle energy system that, when properly activated, allow your awareness to travel instantly across space and time to any point in creation. Learning to access and navigate these portals is one of the most advanced practices of the Melchizedek tradition. The concept of internal stargates is based on the understanding that consciousness is not limited by physical space or linear time. Your awareness exists as a point of infinite potential that can focus itself anywhere in the cosmic matrix through the power of intention and proper energetic alignment. The stargates serve as the technological interface that makes this travel possible, much like a cosmic internet that connects all points of consciousness throughout creation. Although there are many smaller gates spread throughout your subtle body, the main stargate sites in your energy system correlate to the major chakra centers. The crown chakra is the origin of all creation and your gateway to the highest spiritual planes. The cosmic library of knowledge and the mental realms are accessible through the third eye. The emotional and astral dimensions can be accessed through the heart center. The solar plexus is associated with manifestation and personal power. Activation of these internal portals requires specific preparation and energetic alignment. Your consciousness must be sufficiently refined and stable to maintain coherence during interdimensional travel. This involves developing a strong foundation through meditation, energy work, and spiritual practice. Without proper preparation, attempts at Stargate activation can lead to disorientation, energy depletion, or even psychological instability. The activation process begins with establishing a clear intention for your journey. Unlike physical travel, where you might explore randomly, interdimensional travel requires precise focus and purpose. You must know exactly where you want to go and why you want to go there. This intention serves as your navigation system, guiding your consciousness to the appropriate destination through the infinite possibilities of the cosmic matrix. Specific breathing techniques and visualization practices help to charge and activate the Stargate system. As you breathe with conscious intention, you build up the energetic pressure necessary to open the portals. Visualization of geometric forms, light patterns, or specific symbols helps to tune your consciousness to the frequency of your intended destination. Each realm or dimension has its own unique vibrational signature that must be matched for successful travel. The experience of Stargate travel varies greatly depending on your level of development and the destination you're accessing. Some journeys feel like vivid dreams or visions, while others involve a complete shift of consciousness that feels more real than physical reality. You might find yourself in crystalline cities of light, vast libraries of cosmic knowledge, or natural environments that exist in higher dimensions. Navigation through the Stargate network requires understanding that these realms respond to consciousness in ways that physical reality does not. Your thoughts, emotions, and expectations can instantly manifest as experiences, which is why mental discipline and emotional stability are crucial for safe travel. Fear or negative emotions can create challenging experiences or attract unwanted attention from entities that exist in the lower astral realms. Protection during Stargate travel comes primarily from the strength and purity of your own consciousness. When you are firmly established in your connection to Divine Source and clear about your spiritual purpose, you naturally repel any energies that are not in alignment with your highest good. Many practitioners also invoke the protection of spiritual guides or use specific mantras and visualizations to maintain energetic integrity during travel. The return journey requires careful attention to properly reintegrating your consciousness back into physical reality. This involves a systematic process of withdrawing your awareness from the higher dimensions while maintaining the expanded perspective and knowledge you've gained. Grounding practices such as connecting with earth energy, physical movement, or consuming food help to anchor your consciousness back in the physical body. Integration of Stargate experiences into daily life is crucial for maintaining balance and coherence. The insights and knowledge gained through interdimensional travel must be carefully processed and applied in practical ways. Keeping a journal of your experiences helps to anchor the information in your conscious mind and track your development over time. Regular practice with the Stargate system gradually expands your capacity for interdimensional awareness. What initially requires intense focus and preparation eventually becomes as natural as shifting your attention from one room to another. Advanced practitioners can maintain simultaneous awareness of multiple dimensions while remaining fully functional in physical reality. The ultimate purpose of Stargate activation is not escapism or spiritual entertainment, but service to the evolution of consciousness. As you develop the ability to access higher dimensional information and energy, you become a bridge between the realms, helping to anchor higher frequencies into physical reality and assisting in the collective awakening of humanity. Working with internal Stargates also accelerates your personal spiritual development by providing direct access to teachings and initiations that exist in the higher realms. You can receive instruction from advanced beings, participate in cosmic councils, and access healing energies that are not available through purely physical means. This direct connection to the source of spiritual wisdom helps to bypass many of the limitations and distortions that can occur in traditional spiritual teachings. The ultimate goal of all spiritual development is not to escape the physical world, but to transform it by embodying higher dimensional consciousness while remaining fully present in human form. This represents the next stage of human evolution, the ability to function as a bridge between heaven and earth, bringing the wisdom and power of the higher realms into practical application in daily life. Living in higher dimensions while maintaining physical embodiment requires a fundamental shift in how you understand reality and your place within it. Instead of seeing the spiritual and material worlds as separate or opposed, you begin to recognize them as different frequencies of the same underlying consciousness. Your task becomes learning to operate simultaneously on multiple levels of reality without losing your center or becoming ungrounded. The transition into higher dimensional living often begins with subtle shifts in perception and experience. Colors may appear more vivid, time may feel more fluid, and synchronicities become increasingly common. You might find yourself knowing things without being able to explain how you know them, or experiencing a sense of connection to all life that transcends your previous understanding of separateness. As your consciousness expands, your physical body undergoes its own transformation to accommodate these new frequencies. Sleep patterns often change dramatically, with many people requiring less sleep or experiencing periods of intense energy followed by deep rest. Dietary preferences shift toward lighter, higher vibrational foods, and sensitivity to environmental factors increases significantly. The emotional and mental adjustments can be equally profound. Old patterns of thought and feeling that are based on limitation and separation naturally begin to dissolve. This can sometimes feel disorienting as aspects of your identity that have defined you for years or even lifetimes are released. However, this clearing process is necessary to make space for the expanded awareness that comes with higher dimensional consciousness. Relationships undergo significant transformation as you begin to operate from higher dimensional awareness. Some connections may naturally fall away as frequency differences become more pronounced, while new relationships form with those who are also expanding their consciousness. Communication often becomes more telepathic and heart-centered, transcending the need for extensive verbal explanation as you learn to commune directly through energy and intention. Your work and creative expression begin to reflect your expanded awareness, often leading to significant changes in career or life direction. Many people find themselves drawn to work that directly serves the awakening of consciousness, whether through healing, teaching, artistic expression, or innovative solutions to global challenges. The key is learning to bring your higher dimensional insights into practical application that benefits both yourself and the collective. The physical environment responds differently to those operating at higher frequencies. Electronic devices may malfunction in your presence as your electromagnetic field becomes more powerful and coherent. Weather patterns might shift according to your emotional state, and physical objects may seem more fluid and responsive to your consciousness. These phenomena reflect the deeper truth that all reality is consciousness-based and responsive to our level of awareness. Time becomes increasingly malleable as you learn to operate from higher dimensional perspectives. Linear time gives way to what might be called vertical time, where past, present, and future exist simultaneously and can be accessed at will. This allows for healing of past traumas, programming of future outcomes, and the ability to draw upon wisdom and resources from across your entire soul's journey. The development of what might be called supernatural abilities is a natural consequence of higher dimensional living. Telepathy, clairvoyance, healing abilities, and manifestation powers emerge not as special gifts, but as the normal functioning of consciousness when it operates from its true level of power. These abilities require careful development and ethical application as they come with significant responsibility. Managing the challenges of higher dimensional living requires developing new skills and perspectives. Learning to ground higher frequencies into physical reality becomes essential, as does the ability to shift between different levels of consciousness as circumstances require. You must maintain your ability to function in the practical world while remaining open to the expanded possibilities that higher awareness brings. The integration of higher dimensional consciousness often involves periods of intense energy, followed by times of deep integration. Your system requires time to process and stabilize each new level of awareness before moving to the next. Patience and self-compassion become crucial virtues as you navigate this ongoing process of expansion and integration. Community becomes increasingly important as you develop higher dimensional awareness. Finding others who understand and support your journey provides essential validation and encouragement. These soul family connections often feel like reunions with beings you have known across multiple lifetimes, coming together again to support each other's awakening and service to the collective evolution. The responsibility that comes with higher dimensional awareness cannot be overstated. Every thought, emotion, and intention carries greater power and influence when you operate from expanded consciousness. You become increasingly aware of how your personal energy field affects the collective field of human consciousness, leading to a natural sense of cosmic citizenship and responsibility. Service to the collective awakening becomes a natural expression of higher dimensional consciousness. This service may take many forms, from direct teaching and healing work to simply maintaining a high-frequency presence in the world. Your very existence as an embodied example of higher consciousness gives others permission to explore their own potential and contributes to the overall elevation of human awareness. The willingness of people to make the shift to higher dimensional living will play a major role in how mankind develops in the future. The collective field of human awareness changes as more people become adept at embodying expanded consciousness while maintaining a physical sense of reality, which facilitates access to these states for others. This speeds up the awakening process overall by producing a positive feedback loop. All aspects of life are ultimately altered by living at higher levels. The underlying connectedness that unites all life is revealed when the appearance of the separate fades. The feeling of being a victim of circumstances changes into the realization that one is a conscious creator of reality. Fear gives way to love, and scarcity consciousness becomes abundant awareness. This transformation represents the fulfillment of humanity's highest potential, the realization of what the ancient traditions called the divine human or the God-man. It is not about becoming something other than human, but about becoming fully human, expressing the complete spectrum of consciousness that has always been our birthright. The journey into higher dimensional living is not a destination, but an ongoing process of expansion and evolution. Each level of awareness that you integrate opens the door to even greater possibilities, creating an infinite spiral of growth and development. You become a living bridge between the realms, helping to anchor heaven on earth and contributing to the birth of a new paradigm of human existence. As we reach the culmination of this sacred journey together, take a moment to feel the profound transformation that has occurred within your consciousness. You began this audiobook as someone seeking knowledge about ancient wisdom, and you are completing it as an awakened being who has remembered their divine inheritance. The Melchizedek code within you has been activated, and nothing will ever be the same. You now understand that you are not a limited human being struggling to find meaning in a random universe, but rather an infinite consciousness temporarily focused in human form for the purpose of evolution and service. The ancient priesthood that has guided humanity's spiritual development throughout history lives within you, waiting to express itself through your unique gifts and circumstances. The knowledge you have received is not merely information to be stored in your memory, but living wisdom that will continue to unfold and deepen as you apply it in your daily life. Each technique you practice, each principle you embody, and each moment you choose to operate from your higher nature contribute to the activation of dormant potentials within your consciousness. You have learned to access the cosmic library of infinite knowledge, understanding that any information you truly need is available to you through the power of focused intention and elevated consciousness. You no longer need to feel limited by your formal education or past experiences, knowing that you can tap into the wisdom of the ages whenever circumstances require it. The development of your light body has begun, creating the energetic foundation for abilities that will continue to emerge as you maintain your spiritual practices. Your capacity for interdimensional travel, telepathic communication, and conscious manifestation will grow stronger with each passing day, as you learn to operate from increasingly refined frequencies of awareness. Your understanding of sacred geometry has given you access to the fundamental creative forces of the universe. You now know how to work with the patterns and principles that organize consciousness into form, allowing you to participate consciously in the ongoing creation of reality, rather than simply reacting to circumstances beyond your control. The activation of your internal Stargate system has opened pathways to experiences and knowledge that exist far beyond the limitations of physical reality. As you continue to explore these inner dimensions, you will discover resources and guidance that will support not only your personal evolution, but your service to the collective awakening of humanity. Most importantly, you have begun the process of embodying higher dimensional consciousness while remaining fully present in physical reality. This integration represents the cutting edge of human evolution, the development of a new type of human being who can serve as a bridge between the spiritual and material worlds. This realization carries a great deal of responsibility. You are now a servant of the divine plan for human growth, a keeper of age-old wisdom, and a guardian of precious information. In addition to determining the course of your own spiritual growth, how you employ these gifts will also influence how much you can do to change human consciousness. Keep in mind that this awakening is not about spiritual superiority or personal success. It is about serving others, about using your heightened consciousness and skills to contribute to the creation of a world founded on wisdom, love, and unity, rather than ignorance, fear, and division. These gifts have been given to you for the good of all life, not for your own glory. The path ahead will not always be easy. As you continue to embody higher frequencies of consciousness, you may find yourself increasingly sensitive to the chaos and unconsciousness that still pervades much of human society. You may feel lonely at times, misunderstood by those who have not yet awakened to their own divine nature. This is part of the journey, and it requires great courage and compassion to continue walking this path. But you are not alone. Around the world, thousands of others are undergoing similar awakenings, remembering their true nature and stepping into their roles as conscious agents of transformation. You are part of a growing network of awakened beings who are working together, often unconsciously, to anchor higher frequencies of consciousness into the planetary field. Trust the process of your continued evolution. The Melchizedek code within you contains everything you need to fulfill your highest purpose and serve the greatest good. As you continue to practice the techniques you have learned and embody the principles you have discovered, new levels of awareness and ability will naturally unfold. Stay connected to your inner guidance, for it will lead you to the experiences, people, and opportunities that will support your continued growth. Maintain your spiritual practices, for they are the foundation upon which your expanded consciousness rests. And remember always that you are a beloved child of the universe, endowed with infinite potential and supported by forces beyond your current comprehension. According to the ancient predictions, humanity will one day realize its divine nature and usher in a golden period of harmony, wisdom, and peace. That moment has here, and you are among those who have been awakened to contribute to the creation of this new reality. The possibilities that await you are more than you can now fathom, and your adventure has only just begun. Knowing that you possess the same consciousness that gave rise to the stars and galaxies, you can move on with assurance, serve with humility, be brave with your gifts, and have faith that the universe will help you reach your greatest potential. You now possess the active Melchizedek code, which will contribute to the world's transformation. You are the newest member of the ancient priesthood that has come back to life. Welcome to your heavenly inheritance. Welcome to your real life. Welcome to the moment when your inner Melchizedek consciousness awakens. Your time is now. Your purpose is clear. Your power is unlimited. The universe awaits your conscious participation in the greatest transformation in human history.